For the record, the recording has started. The meeting opened at 6:59 p.m.
We did approve the minutes from the December 17th meeting, and now we are moved on to the resolution. So do any of the other members have any, sorry, I hate doing that. I can't see anybody's faces. Does anybody have any comments on the proposed resolution?
I have no questions.
Neither do I.
Okay. So my very kind of lawyerly quibble. And I'm sorry, town attorney is on, correct?
Yes.
I am here, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, good. So on where it says on what page is this? On page 2 of the resolution says specifically the board finds to the minimum lot width requirement or has been met. I'm sorry. There were a couple of items that had not technically been met, but had been approved at prior by prior variances. Do we want to note those out in the findings? Because we did, there was a lot of discussion on those issues, specifically the total square footage of the
Right.
Of the lot, and I think there's a section that's supposed to separate the drive-through from the rest of the parking lot.
Yeah, what I did when I drafted it, I tried to take your specifics 1 through 8 that you had
Mhm.
stated, and then in the paragraph underneath where it starts with further, I
Mhm.
talked about the non-conforming aspect of it
Okay.
as to those things, which was lot size and planner partition. So I can break them out. You didn't enumerate them when you were speaking. That's why I didn't break them
I
out.
understand.
Mhm.
I just wanted to make sure that there isn't going to be any kind of issue later with other cases where this doesn't specifically mention that these had been carved out by prior variances.
Okay, I can add that to say that they're non-conforming by prior variances and add that as number 9 to the findings. That whole
If we want-
paragraph would be number 9.
Okay. Does that sound? Do you understand my concern? Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand. You don't want somebody to have to go through this again when this has already been approved.
Correct. And yeah, and
Mhm.
it was very specifically that if this was a new project, it might not have been
Mhm.
approvable because of those issues, but they had been previously waived.
Yep. So there will be a number 9, and it'll add the language saying also non-conforming / approved by prior variance, something like that.
Okay. And honestly, further, there are aspects of the property which are non-conforming to the current zoning code. Rather than add a number 9, instead of saying, but have found not to be substantive to this request as they are existing and not being altered, how about we say they are, but they have been previously approved through past variances or something like that, and they're existing and not being altered by the proposal outlined in the application. Does that make sense?
Yes, I can add that there.
Okay.
Because I guess the theory would be if somebody did come in and want to alter those things, they would need to do something about that since they don't
Correct.
comply. Mhm. Right.
And the 1 through 8 was the 8 specific factors from the statute. So I don't know if we're going to add a 9 there because there's not a 9, I don't think. Mr. Burris and Mr. Thorne, do you agree with my addition?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay.
So,
I'm
Mr.
gonna-
Chairman, the only issue I had with that was I thought the whole purpose of this resolution was to open it, make it general, because the last one was strictly for Sonic. And that this resolution was to make it general. So that should answer the whole question by making it that way, wouldn't it?
It was my understanding that that amendment to make it general, not specific to Sonic, was with relation to this specific property, though. And the specific property still technically does not comply with the current zoning code, but it has been in effect grandfathered in by prior variances because it doesn't, it's just barely smaller than the what was it, 10,000 square foot
Yeah, 8,500, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was so close that it was really immaterial, but at the same time, we don't need future subdivisions of property coming and saying, well, these guys did it. Why can't we? When I went to be like, the reason why this one was accepted was because those things had already been waived by prior variance for this property.
Okay.
And they were pre-existing prior in the old version of the zoning code,
All right, understood.
to which they were compliant. Does that make sense?
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Chair, this is Steve Scott. May I be recognized for just a second, please?
Certainly. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were here. Please feel free.
Yeah, and just a point of clarification. So there were not ever any variances.
I'm sorry.
They were,
Special exceptions.
yeah, when the prior special exceptions were approved, they were conforming to the prior version of the zoning ordinance, just for a point of clarification.
I appreciate that.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. Thank you. And I meant to say special exception, not, I appreciate
Thank
that.
you. Thanks very much.
So the property had been through this process before, and those had already been, so when it says, you know, I just want to make sure it's clear that even though we're saying that the requirements have been met, there are some deficiencies that have already been, I guess, waived by special exception in the past.
Yeah, grandfathered because they they conformed to the prior version or the prior zoning ordinance when they were approved.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And so, based on that, I would move to accept this resolution with those, with that amendment to be drafted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think so moved. Sorry, I'm at my house instead of at my desk, so I don't have anything printed out today.
At least you got to go home early.
Well, early-ish. Is there, there's
I'm
no
sorry,
motion.
Mr. Chairman, just
Yes, sir.
so it's clear for me, we don't need to schedule another meeting for approval with the amendment?
I don't believe so. I think the language is, you know, it's a very specific and small amendment, and I think it does not alter the substance of the resolution, just to clarifying to make sure that we know that what the procedural history, I guess, of this property is. And we did it, we've done this in the past where we approved with the proposed amendment.
Okay.
All right. I don't have any need for a closed meeting. Is there any other business?
The businesses, the ones that fell off from last meeting, are they going to be coming back on?
That is a good question. I know one of them, I believe, is moot at this point, which was a residential issue, and I'm not sure about the other.
Okay.
Okay, then, this is a lot quicker than the last one. Thank goodness. At 7:09 PM, then I would move to adjourn.
Second.
Excellent. And I guess all are opposed, or all in favor. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everybody. Madam Clerk, is there anything else you need from us?
No, sir.
All right,
Oh,
perfect.
quick question. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
still gonna come out to be, I guess, docu-signed or?
It'll be
does it
docu-signed.
Mhm.
Okay.
So we'll receive that, should be shortly. And thank you guys very much. Although it's a lot, I do think it's a lot more convenient for most of us to do it this way. But I think hopefully at some point in the future, we'll all be able to meet in person.
Okay. And dinner's on you.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe I'll get a raise. All right. Thanks, everybody. And I hope you all have a great evening.
All
You
right.
too. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.